I want to talk about Odegaard as well, because all the talk is about Odegaard, and I know you feel he should maybe give up his captaincy. There's two things with that. First of all, I don't really care so much about whether he's got the armband or not, because in football, unlike other sports, team sports, the captain's role isn't really that significant. In football, the captain's not that important. So what's more important is
I just wanna pause it right there and just address that. I can't lie, Jordan. I think you're incorrect with that one. Hold on. I think the captain's very important in football, especially a team for Arsenal, and especially more specifically to Odegaard, because he's the captain for Arsenal, a football club that has had a history of mad captains that always have kind of carried Arsenal on their back to some degree or pulled something out of the back when needed for Arsenal. And I feel like in football, especially in this day and age, the captain is kind of the main link in terms of communication between the manager on the sidelines and the players on the pitch. Like, don't get me wrong, the manager will talk to as many people as possible, but usually in the flow of the game, it's easier to just, I guess, relay the plans to one person who understands tactically on the pitch what's going on, and they can communicate that to everybody. Do you know what I mean? And then also, at Arsenal, I believe the players choose the captain. So, the players have selected their leader. So now you're the person that the players have decided that, when the going gets tough, when the going gets rough, you get me, you pull up your sleeves, you get me, pull up your socks, yeah? And you get stuck in. And you make something happen. And he's not doing that. He's no longer leading by example. So now there's not, don't get me wrong. There's other examples on the pitch, and I do believe that you should have multiple leaders. It shouldn't just be the person with the armband. However, you've taken on that responsibility, and that's important. So look, you can not care. You can have your personal beliefs and you cannot care. But I think it's a bit mad to say that it's not important. But this is my view on the whole scenario. But obviously, big up. This is a little snippet from the Fourever Arsenal Podcast with Turkish, Jordan, James and Lee. Big them up. AFTV, all them things there. Like and subscribe.
But
having
that's
three or
because,
four.
sorry, Jordan, that's because modern day managers like Mikel, or who Mikel have learnt of, have decreased the importance of a captain. I
Maybe.
disagree with you, because captains are so important when I was growing up. Tony Adams and Roy Keane, to me,
I
are
agree.
two people I look at and say, if I was to ask number one about them, their leadership, and they challenged the manager. Like Adams challenged Wenger the first week he came in, because he
Yeah.
made some tactical tweak against Mönchengladbach, and we lost the game. And Adams was like, "What the fuck is this guy doing? He's not even in yet, trying to do tactic." Or Roy Keane, how many times he challenged Sir Alex? Instead, now what a captain has become is
A
my
mouthpiece.
my mouthpiece, my puppet. Whatever I say, he's going to try, and that's a
Yeah.
problem. But you are right. The importance has dwindled.
It's dwindled. I mean, I'm with you, but in modern day football, you can't shout at players anymore. You can't do that. So for me, the captaincy in football is more symbolic. The bigger issue I have with Martin Odegaard isn't about his captaincy. It's that he's not even doing the basics well. So I don't think Declan Rice played well yesterday, but Declan Rice still did a couple of things where you're like, okay, that was impressive.
He
I don't
fought.
think Saka was good yesterday, but he did a couple of things where you're like, okay, Saka did a couple. I don't think Saliba was great yesterday, but he still did a couple of things where you're like, all right, it wasn't brilliant, but there was a couple of things that he did that you could look to and be like, that was impressive. Odegaard, I can't think of one thing that he did that made me think, all right, yeah, that was a really good through ball.
I can't either. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if no one else can. But do you know why? Because he did nothing. Let's just call a spade a spade. He did absolutely zero. And this is the problem, because it's coupled together, in it. I hear him. More so for him, he's not doing the basics. But for me, it's you are the captain and you're not doing anything. At all, you're not doing anything. You're the captain. And if the captain is doing nothing, what can you expect anyone else to do? Because again, you're the brother that's meant to be leading leading from example. Leading from example. But your example right now is nothing. That's your example. It's nothing. It's come on guys. Do you know what I mean? Come on guys. So now I'm now seeing bare other players on the pitch. Come on guys. Oh, what are we doing? Are we cheerleaders? Come on, man. It's such a shame. I don't really like to kind of dig players out like this. Pause. That's a mad pause. But not only are you letting yourself down, you're letting everybody down, bro. It's just that real.
Or won the ball back well there. His basics, his 5-yard passes, his pass selection is really bad. He's making the wrong passes all the time, hanging on to the ball, giving away cheap fouls. He's scooping it when he should dink it. He's passing to Saka when it should be the flirter. That's what's more worrying to me about Martin Odegaard, and it's been for a while. His basics, forget chance creation. Forget that for a second. I'm talking about 5-yard passes. Those things for me over the course of the game are what really concerns me about Martin Odegaard. People chat about, I was at the box park, as you mentioned last night. And, oh yeah, but the injury maybe. That was November. It was November. I mean, really? We're clutching a little bit. So we got to have a long, hard think about what's happening next year now regarding Martin Odegaard. I'm not saying we should sell him. I'm not advocating we sell him, but to have a poor season, and you are our captain, I don't know. We never doubt Martin Odegaard's endeavour, his work rate, and his commitment. Never, and I would never, because he gives it everything. But his output and quality is so poor.
Commitment.
And in a game like last night, where we need him,
I'll doubt his commitment. Because there's a difference between work rate and commitment. Part of commitment is making yourself available, and he's not making himself available. And when he's on the ball, he's doing the safe thing. That to me is not committed. Now, if you can take the captaincy off Aubameyang, and I know that was a disciplinary issue, but if you can take the captaincy off him, then you can you can take the captaincy off. I'm sorry. Going into next season, he should not be our captain. Full stop. He should not be our captain. We've got better candidates. Rice, Gabriel, Saka. These men stand up when needed. They stand up. We've seen it multiple times over the years.
I get what everybody's saying here, but I think that for me, I think you just got to take a breath with Martin Odegaard. He's a fantastic footballer. He's just out of form, and
We've been breathing all season, Lee.
Yeah. Like the injury has lost him a little bit of a yard and all that. And sometimes, you have a pre-season, you have to do it all again. You're not quite at it for whatever reason. I'm making all the excuses under the sun for him, because I think he's a very, very good footballer. But ultimately, right, he is out of form temporarily. What's that thing like? Temporary.
Class is permanent. Form is temporary.
Yeah. Do you know what? I hear what Lee's trying to say, and I kind of know where he's about to go. Yeah? But the thing for me is, can you be out of form the entire season? I don't know. Maybe that's a question for all you that are watching right now. Let me know in the comments below. Can you be out of form for the whole season? Because for me, form is a spell. It's a period of time, but he's been bad all season. This is the thing. The things that he's doing now, he was doing before the injury. So that's why, he may still be carrying a niggle or a knock or an injury, and that may be affecting him to some degree. But I'm with Jordan on this one, man. I feel like we're clutching. When we say the injury, I feel like we may be clutching at straws here, because for you to go back to the Turkish point as well, for you to not be committed because he's hiding. Was it the Nottingham Forest game where he ran away from the ball? But we see this happen a lot of the time. Like, what he'll do is he'll receive the ball in a forward area, and then instead of progressing it forward or moving forward, what he'll do is he'll spend way too much time on the ball. He'll turn around, move, go backwards, yeah, and then once he's passed it off to the other player, what he'll do is he'll then, like, he's passed the ball in this direction, he'll run this way. So you've passed the ball this way, but you run that way. And it's like, you're not even making yourself available. Like, you're not even trying to, like, create any triangles or any patterns. You're literally, here, you take the ball, responsibility is yours now, I'm over there. So he's gone over there now. And then when he's gone over there, because when you're watching the game, you'll then see the ball be on the left-hand side of the pitch, but he will be close to Saka. And then he'll be like, he'll start calling for the ball. But there's like 4 or 5 players and the ops in between the person with the ball and you. And then he won't get the ball, and then you will start throwing a tantrum. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Bro, if you want the ball, go to it. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, I know where Lee's going to go, but I'm not sure if it's a form thing, Lee. But, people, let me know.
Yeah, he's got that. But at the end of the day, he's just out of form. And it's now down to the manager to take him out. It's as simple as that. Because he's tried to work into his form. He's tried everything. He's working hard and everything. He is just not at it. I looked at him yesterday. Every single time he got the ball, it broke down when he tried something or he played safe. Okay, it's just one of those. So take him out. You haven't got to drop him from the captaincy. If he's not playing, he's not captain. Right? That's as simple as that. He just does not deserve, on current form, to be a starter in this team. He doesn't. It's been going on for too long now. Now, this ruthlessness with Arteta is there on certain things. It's not been here with him. And I get it. He's been so good for us that you want to try and get him back into form and loyalty and everything like that. But there comes a time when you're getting paid £12 million a year on big games and your star man or one of your better players is not doing the business, you have to hold your hands up and say, I've got to leave you out. 5 minutes to go from that game, like we're needing a goal if you want to be. He's taking him off. So he's not happy with him, but it comes to a stage.
Just on that, and this is somewhere where Arteta needs to be more ruthless, more decisive, and more quicker, yeah, in his decision making, yeah. Or he needs to identify a problem a lot quicker and then react to it a lot quicker than what he currently does, because I don't think that he took Odegaard off for any other reason than he just became annoyed with Odegaard. That's just my opinion. Like, because if it was a case of he identified a problem with Odegaard, then he could have taken him off at the 60th minute. Actually, in that game, he could have actually taken him off at half-time. Could have taken him off at the 50th minute, the 60th minute, the 70th minute, the 80th minute. He didn't take him off until the 90th minute, where there's semantics, 89th minute. But there's only like 5 minutes left. So the player that he's brought on can't really change the game. If we're being fair. Not this level of game. You need a lot more than 5 minutes, because you need to warm into the game. You need to adapt to the intensity of the game. 5 minutes is not enough, especially in that role. And the player that he brought on, Ethan Manieri, young teenager. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think that I agree with Lee in the sense that just remove him from the team. Because the thing is, he doesn't deserve to be playing at the moment. It's not even like a hate thing on Odegaard. It's just acknowledging he's not actually playing good enough to warrant a first team appearance. And that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to just sit on the bench. Sometimes when you're sitting on the bench, like, you get to watch the game and you get to see, maybe certain things that you don't see when you're in the game. So maybe having some bench time might do Odegaard good. It might be the kind of pep in the step that he needs to understand, oh shit, I'm Odegaard, the captain of Arsenal. Whoa, okay. And then kind of understand what he needs to be doing. So I agree. I personally don't want to see him start against PSG. And I'm hoping that ruthlessness that Arteta has spoken about in the past and shown in the past, he can show with Odegaard. Because let's be real, next Wednesday is sink or swim, and it's that simple. Arteta, do you go down with the ship, or do you fix it? And it's just that simple.
Now, where and maybe if you sat down with Arteta and go, why are you not leaving him out? I haven't got no one that can do it. Maybe there's that. But at the end of the day now, so I do think because of the lack of getting somebody in that can do that, squad that is now causing problems for Odegaard, because he should not be in the team. And if he's not in the team, he's not captain. So I don't think taking away the captaincy is a productive thing to do.
I'm with you, Lee. Sorry to cut you. I'm with you. I think what you just said there is the approach. I think I honestly don't think anyone has put the need for a creative midfielder or a number 10 as high on their priority list as I have. We've done quite a lot of videos on this on AFTV, I think, Turkish, and I've had it right up there, I think, even above a left winger. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I have it so high is A, to take the burden off Odegaard, but B, because we've got to look at his performances this season. I think Odegaard will turn it around. I think in a year's time, we'll be talking about an Odegaard that looks much more like the 22-23 and 23-24 version of him. I don't think that class goes away. I also don't think he's a player that was dependent on burst and sprint. So I don't see there being a long-term effect with his ankle. By the way, just to say this, I'm obviously no physio. I don't really buy into this whole, he can't lock his ankle when he shoots, because I've never played football to that level, but I've played football with an ankle injury that I've never been on a pitch and thought I can do everything but shoot. My ankle feels great, except for when I do this one thing. I might be wrong. That doesn't really sound right to me. You're still, using your ankle in a lot of different ways. So I don't really give him the excuse of the injury. However, I think we've got to bring in a creative player, because at the very least you're pushing Odegaard, or you've got someone in there who helps him and you get more out of him and you evolve his position. And then ultimately, if he's not at the levels next season and you're starting insert attacking midfielder with Partey and Rice, or Zubimendi and Rice, or whatever it is, then naturally that armband's being worn by someone else in the 90 anyway. And I think that's the approach. It's you add the players you need to add, and then you kind of see what happens circumstantially. I think this is the one thing we underrate about this Arsenal squad is the group and the.
Just quickly, I disagree with that. Just ever so quickly, because if you think about it, if you don't strip the captaincy from him, and I'm not saying do it this season. This season doesn't matter, innit? But going forward into next season, if you don't strip him of the captaincy, then should he go into an actual spell of bad form next season, because he's the captain, Arteta's going to be less inclined to take him out like we've seen this season. Yeah? So I think, personally, maybe Odegaard might be one of those players that he shines a bit more when he doesn't have the burden of the armband. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't doubt that he's a leader. I don't doubt that. He's a captain for his nation. Do you know what I mean? From a very young age as well. He's very smart. He's intelligent. He has good emotional intelligence. Do you know what I'm saying? I think he's a good leader. He's very good at triggering the press and conducting and like, okay, you be here and you be there and come, let's move forward now. And he knows when to move, when to, you get me, he gets all of that. But maybe just having the band on just is burdening him. And maybe without the armband, we might see a better Odegaard. Who knows? But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think.
Togetherness and all this stuff that I think people think is a lot of fluff they don't care about, but it does matter. And I think to do that would be significantly disruptive. I don't think we get a net positive out of having Rice on the pitch running around with the armband going nuts, blah blah. As I don't think we gain as much from that as we lose from the actual act of stripping it from him.
And I think people like Saka, Gabriel, and Rice act like captains on the pitch anyway.
I agree.
Gone on it. We lost in the midfield. Just going on about Martin Odegaard, quickly going back to that. I think that ankle injury is a lot worse than what was made out. I really do. And I do. No one knows what goes on. I've had an ankle injury before. We've all had ankle injuries before. Sometimes you're still playing months later. You still got, it swells up. I remember, like, I used to play, swells up. You have to ice it for a couple of days before it goes down. You get up in the morning, it's stiff, it's painful and all that. It's getting all the physio and all that, like. But I do think that injury was a lot worse than what it was.
Look, I'm going to say something here. Yeah, go on. No, because I'm going to say something. I'm not going to say where the information's come from or nothing, but I know players last year burnt themselves out. I know players last year, one in particular was Ben White, we all know about. They played through injury week in, week out to get something special done, right? And maybe Odegaard's doing that again, yeah? And maybe that's been detrimental to, the cause, my opinion now of him or whoever. Yeah, strip the Why the fuck is the club and Arteta letting this happen? How can you go in light after you've run man ragged for 2 years, nearly crossing the line, and you go do it again, Lee? So if Odegaard is still injured and, he does deserve some leeway in the criticism, fair enough. Don't play him. But what will that expose? That'll expose the lack of depth behind him. And what does that do? Oh my God, the club, they don't care. They're just they're protecting themselves and by doing this to the players as well. Because I know Ben White, we'll use Ben White as an example. 100% he should have had his op earlier. But he wanted to, and the club wanted him to continue. Fine. We didn't get over the line, but it's been detrimental to us this year.
100% agree with you. But I will take you back to the day that he was playing against Norway in that game, right? Everybody was devastated when he got injured. Everybody, because we know how good he was. You know what I mean? Like, but since that injury, he has not been at the levels. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not making excuses. Maybe we should have maybe in January looked to get somebody. I think we got to get someone in the summer to replace. But at the end of the day, like, people are quick to jump on the bandwagon, have a go at him, and rightly so. But just when you do, just remember when you got that injury against Norway, how you felt.
But Lee, so I completely agree, and I just want to. I don't agree with stripping of the captaincy, so I backed him there, and I also think he's going to get back to his best. So I'm backing the player, and I've said all that on this pod. I just, having not done 1 minute of physiotherapy classes and learning, about the industry and all that and the mechanics of it all, I'm just not sure I understand. I'm not sure I understand what the ankle injury is affecting in terms of what I'm seeing that's so disappointing. I saw him not showing and not popping up in positions, and I don't, why is he taking free kicks then? It's little things like that. Like I'm not, it doesn't.
James just hit the nail on the head. He just hit the nail on the head. So, 2 things. I don't know. Look, even, let's just say he is still injured. I don't know if the problems that I have with Odegaard are impacted by the injury. That's one. And then the second thing is, if your ankle is still masher, why are you on set pieces? Do you get what I'm saying? Because you're striking the ball, no? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? Or do you know what? Maybe that's why his set pieces have been so bad. But then begs the question, why are you on the set pieces, bro? Why are you on them? What are you doing? We have a better set piece taker. just hold the L. I know you want to be the guy. Yeah, I got the assist. I whipped it in, or I shot. I scored. Bun the pride thing. Bun it. Odegaard, bun the pride thing. Just give it to Rice. Because if your ankles really mash up like that, all you're doing is aggravating it further. So, relax. And James, bad man.
It doesn't make sense to me. I don't, people saying, well, maybe his shooting's not right because he can't lock his ankle. But I'm like,
That's crap.
Listen, but he can put his foot through a ball and ping a pass. There's not a lot of difference in technique when you're pinging a pass 50 yards to when you're trying to. Yes, there are different, but I don't really understand why. If your ankle hurts, your ankle hurts. I don't know. Maybe I'm being really naive. Maybe
what it is, it's not about the ankle injury. It's maybe he's had that. What happens is you don't train as much as what you do. You're having to nurse it, whatever, blah blah blah. And do you know what goes more than anything? Your confidence. Your confidence in your ability just goes a little bit I think that is where the problem lies. You know what I mean? Like you sort of then I can't be doing the same things that you're doing, and you start question yourself on the pitch not to do this and that, and you try and go safe and it don't work and all that. It's all of those sort of things. What I'm saying is that it's from the injury, and people go, oh, it's 6 months ago and whatever. It's a build up along those lines, like for instance, you might for 2 days you could be working on this, working on that. He's having to have physio. We don't know, you know what I mean, like on the ankle for a day or whatever. I'm not making excuses for it, I'm not. I'm just sort of trying to put it out there that injury is something that, and confidence. But confidence is a big thing.
I know, I get you. I just think if that's the case, the club then, like Turkish has said, have left themselves and these players in a really disappointing position.
And that's that. So you know what? Like, just to sum it up, at least from my perspective, I do think Odegaard can get back to his best. I just don't think it will be this season. I think he needs a proper kind of rest and time away from being depended on, and maybe the summer break will help him. I don't believe there's any international football this summer, so he'll get a proper good rest, and maybe that will help the ankle. Maybe the ankle is causing him problems, whether it's confidence or ability on the pitch, who knows. But if it is, that's a club issue, and the club shouldn't be playing him if he is still injured. And I guess that will only highlight a lot of the things that a lot of Arsenal fans have been talking about over the last couple of years, is that we burn players out. If he is still injured, we're burning him out. We're actually, a lot of people were like, don't bring Saka back because we could ruin his career. We actually might be potentially ruining Odegaard's career through what we're doing now. So I think that's something to consider. It seemed like the only person on the panel that was kind of game for stripping him of the captaincy was Turkish, and I think that he should be stripped of the captaincy, not this season, but next season, or at least have the conversation. Because I feel like we owe him a bit of respect in the sense not to just Arteta to go in and go, okay, you're no longer the captain. I think it should be like a case of, cool, sit down with Odegaard and his entourage and be like, look, maybe it's weighing on you. If it is, now's the time, speak up. Do you know what I mean? We can do this amicably. You know what I mean? And maybe the conclusion is we have you as vice captain and maybe have Rice or Gabriel or Saka as the main captain. But at least at the very least, I need to know that they've had the conversation at the very least. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously I don't want to cause any unrest, and James is right in the sense that just stripping him of the captaincy could have negative impact on the rest of the squad. We all know how there's relationships and all this and all that. But yeah, it just seems like at the moment a lot of Arsenal fans are kind of waking up to the sense that Odegaard's just not at the level at the moment. And I know that if we're waking up to it and we're talking about it a lot, he's hearing it. He will definitely be hearing it. He will definitely hear all of the criticism. He will definitely hear all of the concerns. And I just hope that he uses it in a positive way and he doesn't take it too personally. Like, I just think he needs to understand that if anybody was our captain and behaving this way, or if anybody was anybody's captain, because it's not just an Arsenal specific thing, these are the type of conversations that the fans will be having, innit? So, look, like I said, sink or swim next Wednesday. So we definitely need to do something about this whole scenario. Whether it's even like, because I do know Odegaard has a lot of like responsibility on him on the pitch. Maybe if Arteta just goes to him, look, just play with a bit more freedom in this game. Maybe just relieving him of all of the instructions, just going, hey, look, you understand the system, you understand how I kind of want it to go, but just play with a bit more freedom. Maybe that will help him out. Who knows? But obviously, people, let me know what you think about this conversation in the comments below.